Up, Whatty Nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's anime Nerdigan review is going to be for Blue Exorcist Kyoto Saga Episode 5 Mysterious Connections. So, for those that don't know how my anime Nerdigan reviews work, this is how it works basically. So, what I do is I watch the anime, but I have its corresponding manga chapter and right next to it. So, basically, I make sure that it matches up because, especially with Blue Exorcist, the anime studio said that this season was supposed to be a manga adaptation. So I'm going to make sure it's a manga adaptation. And I'm going to point it out to you guys if there's scene switches and whatnot. But the only thing that I'm not going to bitch too much about is word changes, because otherwise I would be going nuts and we would be here for hours. Anyway, let's get to this. So last time I was saying, because it ended near the end of chapter 22, that I was scared that they weren't gonna they were just gonna cut off chapter 22 and just skip to chapter 23. I was pleasantly surprised. They didn't skip it, and it was so perfect. It was so perfect. And you know what? They added a little extra thing, and I didn't mind it when Tatsuma, when he was groping Shura, he said nice tush. But the thing that bothered me, and I didn't like it, that we still saw Tatsuma there before he ultimately disappeared. He was just supposed to disappear after when Shura was trying to beat him up. And because what Shura says in the manga is, Where'd he? Not bad for an old fart. He felt me up. And the letter that she has is not from what it looked like in the manga. And I want to know what you, in the AO of No Exorcist manga, it looked like he actually put it not in her butt pocket, but it looked like it put it in between her breasts. So let me know if I'm right, if I'm wrong on that. But then we get to the call with Yukio, and I'm not sure how to feel about it when Shura asks Yukio where the heck he has been, because she kind of already knows that Yukio's been that Yukio is trying to find the eye. So I'm just like, that's kind of stupid. And also something that I wish they would have done is, because in the manga Shura sees Yukio while she's on the phone, and what I wish they would have done is that they would have had Yukio show up while Shura was on the phone with him. That would have been really cool, and then go into the opening song, because that would have, to me, would have been a lot more dramatic. I don't know if you Nerdigans agree with me on that, but that's what I think. And I still love the opening song. I love the opening music, and I love the animation and shit like that. I really do. And something that really is bothering me, and I noticed this throughout the anime, is that the side characters are just not getting any love. Like, it happened in, I think it was in episode 1 it happened, and with the tour guide, it was given to Kinzo instead. Episode 2 it happened. I think it was episode 1, it was the let's see, who was it? Where are you? Mr. Sato from Intel Management. He got ignored, and Kenzo was shown instead. There was the History of Demonology teacher, Mr. Adachi, that was gone. And that's the hotel, and that's just a couple characters that I can think of off the top of my head. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because some of the other people in the squad were supposed to introduce themselves to Shura, or one of them was in particular, and he had a role in this chapter. And that was Tarsem. Because there you go. He says to Shura, he says, I'm Tarsem Mahal, chief of the Left Eye Retrieval Unit. And Shura says, Kikakure, chief of reinforcements. And so, something I've noticed, at least the past couple of episodes, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it too, scenes that were supposed to be in the previous episode ends up being in the episode after. In this case, it was the Mamushi scene with Mr. Toto. That scene was supposed to be in the last episode. And to me, when the way they did it, it just didn't make sense. And I just didn't like it. And because where it is in the timeline of events, it just didn't work for me. It really didn't, and it didn't make sense to me, and it really bothered me because Mamushi and Toto and Mr. Toto are supposed to be like, it was like an instant transmission kind of thing. And after the battle, I mean. So it really bothered me. I didn't like it. And I gotta say, the meeting scene was it was practically perfect. But the thing that's bothering me is, again, the side characters don't mean shit. Yukio was taking lines from what's his name? From Tarsem. And also Shima's lines got stolen. Director Shima's lines got stolen. He was supposed to say, currently she is on the run from Toto. Yeah. He got that taken. And this is what Yukio took from Tarsem. What Tarsem was supposed to say, that Yukio said, was, I see. Then the enemy now has both the left and right eyes. And, let's see. And the anime gave extra lines to Shima, or Director Shima, throughout this scene. And you know what? I'm not too mad about it, because it gave a little bit more detail to the situation and the panic of the situation. So I'm not too mad about it. But again, the anime, I swear, I don't know what is with this anime and hating side characters. Like with Tarsem's lines getting taken by Yukio. And this is what, it's just crazy. And you know what I like about, and I gotta say this again, you know what I like about the lines that Shima's getting about the left and right eye being stolen? Because in the manga, all he says is, this is terrible. That's all he says. So I really like that. And this was skipped by Yukio. He says this, and this is after when Director Shima was coughing. He says, Director Shima, I apologize for interrupting, but what exactly are the eyes? And then what happened is Director Shima goes into detail about what are the eyes. The thing that Yukio said that bothered me, what bothered me in the anime, was he said, what happens when you bring the left and right eye together? I was like thinking, huh? That doesn't, like, what are you guys thinking? That doesn't make sense. And then, this, the way that Director Shima, like, worded, this kind of bothered me, and that this was skipped, because Director Shima said this in the manga. And I've noticed that they skip a lot of the important details of certain lore. What Director Shima said that was skipped in the anime was, even those of us at the top did not know their location. Others didn't even know they existed. And of course, after the explanation, someone said, uh-oh, and it was skipped. And then Tarsem said this, and that was skipped. But Yukio basically says it instead of Tarsem. Spreading a new highly poisonous gas, is that their goal? And then another person from the Left Eye Retrieval Squad says this, and well, actually Shura really says it, but it was supposed to be her from the Left Eye Retrieval Squad, was since it's an unknown substance, the Order may not be able to handle it alone. And then Tarsem says, and of course, Shura really ends up saying it, is then we must find Toto and Mamushi fast. And something that I really wish would have happened here was, like, I wish we would have had like a commercial break or something here, or something to break it apart, because the way chapter 23 starts, it really looked like it needed it. But anyway, well, Shura doesn't say, and this is why I kind of got mad that Tarsem didn't say that. Tarsem didn't say that. Then we must find. Tarsem didn't mention the goal and shit like that. And I don't know why Shura didn't say if that is their goal. That didn't make sense. And the thing that I didn't understand was when director Shima was talking about searching for them in the anime, they mentioned the most common places. I was thinking, huh? Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing like that in the manga. They just says we're searching for them. Like, shit. And something that made my day, because usually anime doesn't do it. Half the time it doesn't do it. Is Yukio's monologue. I was very happy with it. And with Yukio's monologue, and the manga didn't do it, but I was happy the anime did this, was with the flashback to Mr. Toto. I thought that was appropriate. This is when it's okay to do a flashback. And the thing is, then we get to the filler. Yes, this episode had so much filler. It had like, and I kept track of it. It had about, I want to say, close to almost like 12 minutes of goddamn filler. I'm serious. There was that much filler in there. I was just like, or not 12, I'm sorry. There was, at least 2 minutes of filler in there. I'm sorry, I read my script, my notes wrong. There was at least 2 minutes of filler in there. I was just like, what are you doing? There was all this shit between Yukio and Shura, and I'm like thinking to myself, why the fuck are we, why? We don't need this. We don't fucking need this. Actually, no, I was wrong. It was 10 minutes. I just double checked it. It was 10 minutes. We had 10 fucking minutes of this shit. No, I'm sorry. I gotta correct myself. It was 2. It was 2. I don't know why I keep thinking it was 10 for a second. But it was 2 minutes. And it was bullshit. And then, just when you think, and by the way, I thought you would think they switched the scenes. You would think that they switched the scenes. But no. But no. You know what they did instead? Because that's what I thought originally happened. It was that they were just either cutting out or switching the scenes with the rest of with the rest of the gang. But no, all they did was just put filler in there. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm just thinking the reason why they put that filler in there was because they if you took all the filler out, the episode would have been shorter. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, if they could have probably started on chapter 24. You know what? I'm going to double check something. Now that I'm thinking about it, they probably could have moved some of the stuff from either last episode to this episode and make it longer, which I think would have been better, actually. I really do. If they would have cut it off where Rin and Rin and Bon were about to square off and then go into all the other crap, that might have been good. And instead of having that in that episode, have the Mamushi scene in there with Mr. Toto, that might have been good. I think they should have done something like that because they cut, like, in the previous episode, they cut out so much shit. Like, a lot of this shit, because I understand why they put filler in there, because they would have had a much shorter episode. And I'm looking at chapter 24 right now, and I completely understand why they didn't want to include chapter 24, because the way they ended the episode was perfect, in my opinion. I liked how they ended it. But anyway, let me get back to where I was in here. Okay, I gotta mention this before we actually got to even more manga canon. I didn't understand what the fuck was up with the fucking earthquake conversation. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what are you talking about with the goddamn earthquake? Seriously, like, I didn't get it. Can anyone explain to me why they did that? Seriously. Shit. I lost my spot. Just give me a sec. Okay, and then we get back to the manga canon, and the conversation was perfect. I was happy with it, and then we get to where they're taking care of Bon, but this was skipped, and I was really pissed about this. So Kaneko asked, didn't ask in the anime. He asked, "Where is he?" I was like, he didn't ask that in the manga. He asked, what are they gonna do to him? And Bon says, I don't know. Miss Kirakure used a spell to knock him out and then talked about where the location was. I was like, instead of filler, why didn't you put that in there? And then Shura said, then read this, and this was in the scene, the dungeon scene with Rin, and he said, why me? Or he said, why? And she said, I don't know, why did you want me to read this, basically? And Shura says, and I like it, what she said in the manga more, she said, I don't know, just read it. And then this is what I'm gonna rant about this right now. They switched, you know the speech that Yukio gave about, you said you were going to surpass me? First of all, they did that scene before, Shura gave him the letter from Seguro. Or, sorry. Shit. I totally forgot the name. Just, from Tatsuma. That's his name. From Tatsuma. And I'm just thinking, huh? Why are you doing that? Because the reason why I'm saying that is that what happened is before in the manga what happened was before Shit. Just give me a sec here. Before Yukio read the letter, in the manga, that's when he gave the, you said you were going to surpass me speech. And the thing was in the anime that I thought was odd was there was a pause right before he read it. And I was thinking to myself, that's where you should have given the fucking you said you were going to surpass me speech. I didn't understand why you didn't do that, anime. That fucking pissed me off so goddamn much. It really did. It really, really did. And I just realized this as well. It's something the anime could, I don't know why the anime didn't do it, is why didn't you let the side characters, give the side characters extra time? Why didn't you do that, anime? You did this bullshit filler instead of actually letting the side characters do what they're supposed to do. I don't understand this shit. This is supposed to be a manga adaptation. But no, what really pissed me off even more is they showed the same bullshit flashbacks that were from the non-manga adaptation season 1. Yeah, they showed that bullshit. I forgot to mention the other bullshit filler they showed. They showed like the background of the sword. And I understand why they did that because of what happened later on, but in the note. But I was thinking, what? Why are you showing this? This is not in the manga. Just you're supposed to be. You're telling me this is a manga adaptation. You're telling me this is a manga adaptation, right? How is this a manga adaptation when you're adding all this fucking filler in there? Some of it that isn't necessary, especially from the first season, which was basically filler. I was so fucking pissed about that. I was so mad, especially since the thing that really pissed me off about the other filler that was shown during the when Bomb was talking about how how Ren was in trouble and shit, they showed when he flared up, they showed that bullshit flashback, and I was like, why are you showing that? I just didn't get it. Oh my god. Okay. Now, now I'm gonna mention something better. Something that I really, really liked was the flashback from the letter from Tatsuma. That was fucking perfect. If you want a manga adaptation, the last part of the episode with the Tatsuma letter, basically that whole Tatsuma letter, was basically fucking perfect. I mean, there was basically one line missing that I noticed, which was he's right. That was like the only line that was missing that I noticed. Maybe there was like one other line about his child, but that's really it. But the whole scene was perfect. That whole letter was perfect. And what really made me happy was this ended and it ended at the end of chapter 22. Or not 22. It ended, yeah. Oh, it ended at the end of chapter 23. I'm sorry. I don't know why I put chapter 22. It ended at the end of chapter 23. And it was fucking perfect. I was so fucking happy that at least they did the beginning of 22 right and the ending of 23. I was very happy. But the things the thing that bothered me the most was the goddamn filler. It just didn't. If you're gonna do filler, at least have the filler make fucking sense. I just don't get it. I don't know what's wrong with this studio. I don't get it. It's shit like this that makes me hate anime. It really does. And you know what I was thinking while I was watching it, I was thinking, why am I torturing myself by watching this? why am I doing this? I can't stand this shit. And then I told myself, it's like, yeah, I'm doing it for you guys. I'm watching this and covering it for you guys because I want you guys to be aware of what of the fact that this is not a manga adaptation. This isn't. This is a half-ass manga adaptation, if anything. I feel like they're, don't get me wrong, they're somewhat trying, but at the same time, I feel like they're not. I feel like that this could be so much better. To me, it reminds me of, in a way, it reminds me of the Harry Potter movies. And especially this one, this reminds me almost of like not the Half-Blood Prince. It almost reminds me of Order of the Phoenix, where they had an extra hour and a half, or at least an extra hour, and they didn't put Weasley as our king in there, which was an important part, and they just didn't put it in there. And they had extra bullshit that they didn't need. That's what this makes me think of. It really does. And I just don't understand it. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and let me know what you think about the filler in here. I just don't like it. I really hate this filler. I'm getting fucking annoyed that this is supposed to be a manga adaptation. And let me know what you think they could have done to make this better so it didn't need filler. I think personally what they should have done was they should have cut off last episode a little bit sooner and started this episode where Rin and Bon were fighting. That's what I think should have happened. Even though I did like how it ended last week, I think now that we've had this episode, I think it would have been better to see them fight in this episode, because then I think we would have had less of a filler problem. Anyway, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to the Nerdigans Inc. expansion, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can donate to the Nerdigans Inc. Patreon or purchase something off the Nerdigans Inc. Amazon wishlist. Both links are in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on the Twits, aka Twitter. Follow my Twitch channel and friend me on PlayStation Network. Everything's in that description box below. And until next time, my fellow Nerdigans, I will be seeing you later. Bye!